So it's the end of March 2014, and one of the things I want to do, this is something you should do a few times a year. You want to do this in March when spring is starting and we've had rain and now the rains are stopping. The plants are wanting to do their growth and their bloom. You're seeing here that I've got some this is Jupiter's beard. It's starting to bloom. It's always one of the first things to bloom. I even have some carpet roses over here starting to bloom. So these plants, they want to do a lot right now. They want to bloom and they want to grow. And so in order to do all that, obviously they need moisture in the soil. So this video is about timing our sprinklers and making sure that they're adjusted accordingly. The first thing you need to do is find out where you are before you can decide what adjustments to make. So what I mean by that is, what is our soil moisture like? I look at this lawn and I think, well, looks pretty good. It's pretty green, but actually right in this area, the grass is pretty short compared to that taller area. So I'm just going to check moisture. And the way I like to do it is with a screwdriver. So I just check for resistance. And I am having to really push in this area. Now I have rocks in this soil, that's part of the problem. So in this better looking area, it is easier, but it is hard to get into this. So as green as this is, it was raining just a week or so ago, and I bumped up my irrigation, but I barely bumped it. And also we've been in the mid 70s and even the low 80s recently, so I need to add more water to the soil for the lawn. So let's check the shrub areas. This looks really dry, and it is really dry. You see how this is just super crumbly. There's no moisture whatsoever in there. So I'm going to need to raise the amount of water with the timing on the irrigation and try and get this soil moisture up. So here's another thing. This soil is super dry. One of the things is you need to create a baseline to where there's enough soil moisture in the ground and then maintain it. So what I mean is that the weekly scheduling is something where you want to come in and maintain soil moisture. This soil is so dry that I first need to establish soil moisture and then I can maintain it. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to come in and I'm going to run some manual cycles to get that going, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So here's some soil in my yard that's fairly moist. Let's see how it behaves. So my first thing, this is called the Clod test, is will it hold a clod together? If it will not, it's not wet enough and there's no available moisture for your plant, or very little. This soil right in the top anyway has a lot of organic matter, and that's making it hard to get a good read on whether this soil is moist enough. So I'm going to go down a little deeper and see what I find there, because I have some pretty heavy clay below this surface layer. So I got down a little deeper, and sure enough, the soil has I can create a nice clean clod here that will hold itself together. And if I break it, it doesn't crumble too badly. So I'd say this is about, excuse me, 80 to 90% of the soil moisture I would want for this soil. See how it holds a nice clod? Can shake it. If it were too dry, that would all come apart. So I break that, 2 clean clods. This is as close to ideal as I probably would be able to show you for the soil moisture test. So this is what you're after when you go around, and if it's not quite at this point, adjust up or down with your irrigation controller on time. I'd say this has been 2 or 3 days since this watered, so this isn't really surprising. I wouldn't expect it to have ideal moisture 2 days later, and so I'd say this is really, wow, look how dry this is. So I definitely need to bump the irrigation in here and get it going. This has absolutely no moisture. And again, that's why I'm doing this video today, is because it's spring and it's March, and a lot of times it's still raining. But this makes the bigger point that you always need to be tuned into your garden, unless you've set it up and everything is working and the plant health looks good. But the first thing to look for is plant health, and this one doesn't look very healthy. So you make your adjustments, and then you go back occasionally, probably every month or so, and just check for soil, and whether you get the the nice soil moisture like we saw in one of the other clips, or whether you find this dry. This means you need to adjust whatever you're doing with your sprinkler timing.
For lawns, 6 to 10 minutes every 2 days. If you're in shade, you could go down to every 3 days or so. Also, if you have a slope like I do here, I'd like to limit it to 2 to 3 minute intervals so that you don't get runoff, or we call that a soak cycle. Shrub areas, we got 6 to 10 minutes every 3 days, again depending on sun and what type of plants you're watering. If they're lower water plants, you can spread that out and go for fewer minutes. Again, check your soil moisture as your gauge. And for drip, 20 to 40 minutes every 3 days, sometimes 4 days if you've got really low water plants. And again, if you're on slope areas, which I don't tend to do, you would want to go for intervals that are about half that run time and do 2 of those with an hour or so in between to maximize your penetration and not getting runoff.